It's been over 10 years since his very first appearance in the 2008 short film The Ninth Circle, and 6 years after his first full-length solo venture Terrifier, but Art the Clown is back for another vomit-inducing gorefest in Terrifier 2. After being resurrected by a sinister entity, Art the Clown returns to the timid town of Miles County, where he targets a teenage girl and her younger brother on Halloween night. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Justin here, as always. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with me today to talk Terrifier 2. Holy shit, guys. That was a ride. Not even gonna bury the lead here. Terrifier 2 is fucking awesome. I am absolutely shocked, blown away, dumbfounded at how much I enjoyed this movie. As a lot of you guys know, I was not a huge fan of the first movie, and I've said on many occasions I just flat out didn't like it. I love the gore, of course. Art the Clown is an amazing character. Visually, he's terrifying. In the original movie, I thought he was a little one dynamic, being that he didn't say anything, and I think there were still Damien Leone as a director and David Howard Thornton were kind of still getting their feet wet and learning who this Art the Clown is as a character, how he should be portrayed, how he should be filmed, his interactions with the character. But in Terrifier 2, they've unlocked the formula, and this movie is, in my opinion, an instant classic. Everything about this movie, from this badass synth soundtrack to the amazing gore, we'll talk a lot about that here in a minute, to this vintage old school video store shot on video film grain aesthetic that this film has, all the neon lights, the Halloween setting. This movie has a really natural Halloween feel. It feels like fall, it feels like October, but right off the bat when you start watching this movie, you instantly notice a major upgrade in the performances, the caliber of actors, the directing's a lot better, a lot of the camera work is better. There's actual character arcs and characters in this movie. And when the first movie focused on some random party girls that had zero character development or anything like that, it focuses on this family, a mother and her two children, Sienna, the older daughter, and Jonathan, the younger brother. I really liked the dynamic between this whole family. The chemistry between this family felt real, and they gave you a lot of exposition about the background of this family, why their mom is a single mother, without just feeling like a bunch of exposition. The writing is much better in this movie for sure. Although this movie does have a runtime that's over 2 hours, I never felt bored. It did feel a little long, but at no time was I ever bored. There is always something happening, and the sound design in this movie is amazing. There's all this really cool synthwave electronic music that's awesome. There's a bunch of set pieces. This movie is basically set piece after set piece after set piece, characters hanging out, whether it be at a party or in a park or in a car or all these weird settings, and then they're just intercut with all of these insane, over-the-top kill sequences that are probably the most gory shit that I've ever seen in a theater. It's one of the goriest movies, honestly, I've ever seen that actually had quality to it. There's a lot of bottom-of-the-barrel gore films out there, like the stuff from Unearthed Films and August Underground and the Guinea Pig series that just don't really have any sort of characters. It's just non-stop gore without a plot. This is just as gory as your goriest exploitation film, even underground exploitation films, but it's wrapped in this package that's so beautiful to look at, beautiful to listen. Like I mentioned, the cinematography has this incredible vintage film grain feel. It just looked fantastic. I saw this in a theater with a bunch of people and it was amazing. I was actually shocked to see some fucking dumbass brought their kid, their probably, I don't know, 4-year-old girl to see this movie. Although she didn't seem fazed, I thought it was a little odd to see a child in this movie. Speaking of child, Art the Clown, I'm not going to spoil anything in this review, but Art the Clown has a little protege in this movie, this little clown girl, and she may be more terrifying than Art the Clown. I guarantee you, there's a character in this movie, this little clown girl, that I just guarantee you she will get her own spin-off movie because she was absolutely perfect. And now let's talk about the gore. I'm gonna be honest, guys, I watch a lot of shit. I've seen a lot of up gory movies, and this is easily by far the goriest movie that I've ever seen get a wide release. I think with the rise of movies like this getting wide releases, or at least limited releases in actual theaters, we are about to see the new era of torture porn and extreme gore. I mean, this is gorier than your Saw movies. This is gorier than Hostel. This is like Dead Alive level gore, but it's a different kind of gore because this gore is insanely realistic looking. It's very brutal and very cruel. Art the Clown is such a cruel character, but it's just kind of this rare balance that doesn't seem as sinister and sadistic because Art the Clown is always smiling and laughing and doing all these weird bodily movements that kind of take the edge off. But in this one, there is a kill scene with this one character that goes on and leads to this amazing animatronic, like true animatronic, old school practical effects scene that just absolutely blew me away. Everything about this movie, honestly, I know it sounds like I'm being crazy and hyping this movie up too much. I am just so happy that this movie exists. What an insane year for horror. Even just in the past couple months, Barbarian, Pearl, X, all of these amazing movies. And now we get Terrifier 2, and it was just absolutely incredible. This movie is very dark, it's very sinister. 2014 Justin would have approved this movie for sure. The small complaints that I do have would probably relate to the length of the film. There are many scenes that I guess could have been cut. They don't necessarily take away from the movie, but there's a lot of scenes that don't necessarily serve the plot. There's this sort of dream sequence at the beginning with this clown cafe thing that's super, super weird. It's almost like a musical segment, but then you're wondering, like, why is this in the movie? But then it ends in the most over-the-top gore that it just makes everything worthwhile. This movie isn't all about the gore like the first one was. I think the first movie pretty much stands alone on Art the Clown and the gore and pretty much nothing else. This movie gives you all of that stuff, but Damien Leone knew this time around you couldn't have a story that thin. You have to give the audience a little bit more as far as lore, history on characters, and just an overall somewhat plot. Like I said, the story is super thin here. We're introduced to our characters. Sienna is getting ready for this Halloween party. She's talking to her friends about going out and all this shit. They go to this rave type of thing, and as they're at this party, shit starts to hit the fan, and then we just get some of the most over-the-top kills I've ever seen in a horror movie, and it made me so fucking happy. You guys gotta rush out and see this movie. See it in the theater if you can. This is rare that you would ever see a movie like this in a theater that you can just go watch and just buy a ticket and see it at your AMC. This seems like more of a movie that would be like a midnight theater or like a local theater playing some underground shit. The fact that this has a theatrical release is mind-blowing, and it just go support this movie. I know I said this about Pearl and Barbarian, but if you go see any movie this year, and if you are a fan of true horror, go support this movie in the theater, because I think this is gonna have some great word of mouth. It's absolutely phenomenal. I cannot recommend Terrifier 2 enough, and I'm shocked to say that. I went in begrudgingly to see this movie. I wanted to hate this movie, and I just couldn't because it's that good. So guys, let me know in the comments below what you thought of Terrifier 2. What do you think of the first movie? Do you think Art the Clown is the new horror icon? Let me know, guys, and I think we're done here. Stay weird. Remember to always be yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Time to rock and roll with Chuckles the Clown. We are waiting for the sound of your tone. You can be in the Chuckles band, just sing into the telephone.
I'm gonna be in the Chuckles band. I'm gonna sing into the telephone.
That was fantastic. You really should be a recording star. I want you to be the next guest star at my party, so call right now.